What's going on YouTube? Username Kite562 here, and I have another Beastars manga review, and it's of Volume 7. Now, as I said in my previous videos for this series of video reviews that I'm making, these videos will have some spoilers, but I really don't want to spoil the experience for new readers, so I won't be showing any new, manga panels from the manga itself, but anyway, these are just my thoughts and opinions on what's happened within the manga. So far, I've read up to Volume 12, but I really try to get out these videos as much as I can, so just please bear with me and just sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Now, with the start of Volume 7, we have the gathering of all the principals of each and every school for both carnivores, specific schools, herbivores, specific schools, and then Cherryton Academy. Now this scene is like a meeting between all the headmasters of each school, and they're trying to figure out who's going to be the next Beastar, since Cherryton hasn't had a Beastar in the next 5 years, or last 5 years I should say, so apologies for that. So the last 5 years Cherryton hasn't selected a Beastar, and then all the other headmasters try to approach Gon that, Cherryton needs a Beastar, and since Louie's kind of out of the picture and they haven't been able to find him, they just don't know where to turn to. So, with the incident of Tem's murder, they all decide on whoever catches Tem's murderer becomes the next Beastar. So, yeah. In the next part, Principal Gon states that being a teenager is hard, and having the responsibility of the Beastar would just be too much for him. Now, this scene itself, or select series of panels, just really caught my eye and really interested me, because being a Beastar, it just feels like to me more of a popularity title, but I know it leads to more responsibilities as the individual gets older. So to speak, you have higher status things and all that, so it's just an absolutely interesting thing, but definitely give this series a read. But anyway, Gon, he's the headmaster for Cherryton, Gon states that being a teenager is hard, and teenagers are still trying to figure out who they are regardless of whether they're a carnivore or a herbivore, and having that sort of responsibility would just be too much for them. So I don't understand why don't they just wait until that student graduates from Cherryton or whatever school that they come from in this universe, and just give them the responsibilities when they're of age, whether it be 18, 20, whatever. So then that way they have a chance to develop into a nice upstanding citizen within this universe of Beastars. So then that way they don't get too dissuaded from teenage emotions, being able to fall in love, and just deal with all the regular teenage territory that comes with the age. So if that makes no sense, I apologize. So anyway, Legoshi crosses paths with the security guard of Cherryton named Six Eyes. Now, this character Six Eyes is just absolutely hilarious at how they were introduced. It all starts with the 701 boys just telling spooky stories about this hidden six-eyed monster within the wall, and Legoshi just ends up punching the crap out of the wall and leaving a hole in it, and his friends Jack, Maguno, and the rest of the 701 crew just end up freaking out on him, and they think he's like some sort of assassin, and it's just absolutely hilarious that they'd go this far, or Legoshi would go this far. So yeah, it was just an absolutely wonderful start and wonderful build-up within this chapter alone. So yes, Legoshi goes down to go do some laundry in the laundromat, and he still hears that weird rattling sound, and he can't figure out where it comes from, but he does figure out who and what it is, and it ends up being Six Eyes. And lo and behold, it's a giant rattlesnake. Problem is, this individual's the only security guard at Cherryton. I think there'd be some problem with that. Like, why isn't there like a full-on security system for the Cherryton school? I don't think one security guard is gonna cover everything, but, you know, Six Eyes usually keeps close appearances within this school, so maybe there's like a network of tunnels within the walls that he or she can slither into and whatnot, and just go from there. But his introduction, or Six Eyes' introduction to Legoshi, was just absolutely interesting because as they talk, Six Eyes wonders why Legoshi won't use his gifts that he was given as a carnivore, whether it be his fangs, claws, his strength, his muscle. It's just really baffling to Six Eyes that it really astounds him that Legoshi won't use his birth-given gifts as a way to help protect the school of Cherryton. So after that, they have a talk and go back to Tem's murder scene, and Legoshi notices that there's some fresh flowers within. So anyway, Legoshi is tasked by Six Eyes to find Tem's killer, or the one who devoured him. And it's a really well illustrated scene in my opinion, because I have to say my favorite part is when Six Eyes tries to wrap itself around Legoshi and just constrict him. But at the same time, I think Six Eyes is more of a rattlesnake than a boa constrictor or a reticulated python. There's so many different snakes out there, so hey! Anyway, this volume was just a blast, but after my next point, it's just kind of a skipping around here. So, different gangs are in the back alley market, meaning the Shishigumi is still ran by Louis the Red Deer, which that's what he's been doing most of the time. After Volume 6, he was introduced as the new boss of the Shishigumis, so this is mainly back alley market stuff. I really don't want to go into too much detail here, but I just wanted to give some thoughts on what I thought about this section of chapter within the Shishigumi area. And I just think that snapping turtle butcher design is just absolutely wonderful, because at first the denizens of the back alley market didn't believe that there was a herbivore as the boss of the Shishigumi, and it's just absolutely great that they just end up just completely dumbfounded, and it's just all in all wonderful. So yeah, I really enjoyed the butcher scene with the snapping turtle butcher, because honestly his design kind of reminds me of Slash in a way from TMNT 2012, and I just thought that was a really interesting callback. It seems like a cross between Slash and, I don't know, like some sort of Treasure Planet like character in a way. I mean, if you've seen that movie, you've seen it. I think it's a nice movie. But anyway, what I found interesting about this chapter, it goes into detail on different gangs that are based on different species of carnivores within the back alley market. So you have first the Inaragumi, which is like foxes, wolves, or probably like any canine type of class of species. The Dokugumi, which is like a lizards, caiman lizards, bearded dragons maybe, I don't know. So, and then lastly you also have the Madaragumi, which is consisted of a gang of leopards. I just thought this interesting take on different gangs and turf wars within the back alley market was just really interesting. Are we gonna get a spin-off series just based on these 4 different factions other than just the Shishigumi and whatnot? I really do hope that they focus more on these gangs as the volumes continue. That's just my opinion. So anyway, yeah, that's all I want to say about that. Anyway, as these chapters go on within this section, Louis struggles behind closed doors with eating meat. As a herbivore, So anyway, yeah, as you remember from Volume 6, Louis had to eat a steak to become the boss of the Shishigumi as a sort of an initiation test ceremony, whatever you want to call it. So as the days go on, the meat starts to affect his body, starts to make him weaker, and then Ibuki, which is his kind of like father figure in my opinion, and probably everyone else's opinion who's read this series up until this point. So yeah, Ibuki buys a salad for Louis just so he can get some proper nutrients. And if you're a herbivore in this area, that is just, it's hard getting strength from something that you're not used to eating. So I just thought that this was just a sweet, tender, quote unquote father son moment between Ibuki and Louis, because Ibuki does really give me a solid parental figure vibes from him as I finished this volume alone. Well, reread it. And it was just really sweet and wholesome to see those two interact, and I really can't wait to see more from these two in the future. So anyway, Louis ends up getting a salad from Ibuki, and then Ibuki opens up to Louis that he felt kind of weird buying a salad, but then again, he knew his boss needed nutrients from this. So anyway, Louis accepts, and then we go on from there. So I gotta bounce back to Legoshi. Since he has to try to find Tim's murderer, he has to investigate each and every one of the drama club members, since Tim was originally a member of the drama club. So he has to go through each carnivore and just see who devoured Tim. And this includes one of my favorite characters of this series, Pina, which he is a dull-horned sheep, or a dill-horned sheep. And he just seriously, I don't know, like, I just love him. Like, he seems like this suave, gentleman-like character, but he's such a lovable, narcissistic asshole, in my opinion. And apologies for the language. I just really can't get enough of this character. It's just great the way that he introduces himself. Like, he just ends up pissing off a bunch of the carnivore students because, according to my notes, Peanut claims carnivores can't be attractive because they always have to fight their instincts, which I don't agree with. But with how all the carnivores, like Bill, Juno, and all of them reacted, it was just absolutely hysterical revisiting this. And then he slowly creeps up on Legoshi, and Legoshi's just trying to mind his own business and just be, occupied by his own thoughts. And it's just absolutely just hysterical. Like, this volume makes you feel tense, it makes you laugh, and it just makes you feel interested in this series in the long run, and it's just absolutely just wonderful, just absolutely wonderful. So anyway, my next point, skipping back to like near the end of the volume, Legoshi gets attacked from behind by an unknown attacker, this giant shadow-like figure of a being. He just ends up gashed in the eye. So, like, during that fight, that struggle, Legoshi ends up locking lips with him, and not in a sexy kind of yaoi kind of way. So, no, he just wanted his saliva to test. And it's just a really aggressively drawn out panel, and it's just absolutely wonderful. So, in the end, Legoshi ends up bleeding out on the floor, freaking bandana over his eyes covered, wrist bound, and it's just, I feel bad for him because, like, after the whole ordeal, Legoshi kind of reminded me of Rambo a little bit, but I'll get that to the end later of this review. So, yeah, Legoshi gets attacked by an unknown assailant, so Jack ends up finding Legoshi all bloodied and bruised, and Jack's just absolutely distraught about what he's witnessed about his friend, and it's just absolutely heart-wrenching to see Legoshi just sprawled down on the floor, just barely breathing, almost to the brink of death, and it's just really blew my mind with how these panels were illustrated near the end. It's just absolutely wonderful. So, and as Legoshi was in and out of consciousness, he just tells Jack not to worry, but then Jack keeps on saying, the stronger that you get, the sadder you become, or something around those lines. It's just, I thought that was really sweet, because this friendship dynamic between Jack and Legoshi feels like an older brother trying to take care of a younger brother type of dynamic to me, since they've known each other since they were little kids, and I can really understand how Jack feels and where he's coming from. But again, Legoshi doesn't want to get anyone else in danger with trying to find who Tim's killer was. But anyway, near the end of the volume, I think Legoshi goes to like some area within the back alley market trying to pick up some bamboo for Gohin, or it might be some other market. If it is the back alley market, please let me know down in the comments below, because it kind of looks like the back alley market, but it kind of doesn't. So anyway, Gohin ends up sneaking up behind Legoshi, surprising him off guard. So anyway, in the end, Legoshi ends up asking Gohin to train him some more for him to control his bestial power, or beast power, whatever you want to call it. So I almost said Beast Boy power there. Anyway, this isn't a DC property, so anyway, my overall thoughts on this volume is just, it was absolutely great. Like, each and every character, a new one would get introduced, like Pina, and then Six Eyes. So anyway, I thought this volume was great, really enjoyable. I've read up to volume 12. So yeah, leave a like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more content from this channel. I've read up to volume 12 of this series, and I'm loving every bit of it. So yeah, leave a comment. What was your favorite part of Beastars Volume 7? Or like, if you've read any of the volumes of the manga, seen any of the anime on Netflix. I don't know when Season 2 is supposed to release for English audiences. But, you know, I've read up kind of in the middle of that point, I think, since I think Volume 7 starts off Season 2, or the later half of Volume 6. I don't know. Let me know down in the comments. I love interacting with you guys. So anyway, yeah, this is Kite562 signing out, and as always, Beastars is written and illustrated by Paru Tagaki and published by Viz Media. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day, everybody. Later.